So there's a comment that was placed on Facebook where someone had said that they've appreciated the knowledge, but that they've left the Deen. And so we asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may guide them back to Islam. The reality of anyone's situation in regards to the Deen is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as it's mentioned in different places, in different ways, in the Quran as well as in the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, is that, as for example, this mention of khutbah Haja, the normative khutbah that is said on the day of Jummah, مَن يَحْلِبْنَا فَلَا مُضِلَّ لَهُ وَمَن يُضْلِلْ فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ, that whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to go astray, there's none that can guide them, and whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, there's none that can misguide them. And so this is why we always say that the greatest form of da'wah, the greatest way of calling people to Allah, which is ultimately to Islam in terms of submission to Allah, is by making dua for them. And we make dua for them because, for one, we don't want it to be a situation where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ever takes iman away from us. But at the same time, if we understand with certainty, as we are commanded to do, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ, know that there is no God other than Allah. Then if we know this with certainty, then we know the realities of the hereafter. And from the standpoint of mercy, just like the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a Nabi al-Rahmah, was a prophet of mercy, is that we would never want anyone to leave this abode without being in a state of Islam. And so for the person who may be struggling in this regard, one of the things that we could recommend is that Sheikh Hamza Karamali, he has a program that he does, which is referred to as Why Islam is True. And the reason why we recommend that is because oftentimes when a person may leave Islam, it's because they were never truly certain about the truthfulness of Islam in the first place. Meaning that Islam may have been a preference, it may have been something that, felt good for a time, or whatever the case may be. But, for example, if we know for certain that Islam is true, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true, then whatever may come in our lives, it would never shake that reality. And so one of the reasons why we recommend Sheikh Hamza's program, Why Islam is True, and the primary portion of it can be obtained for free, is that if a person were to take that course and become firm in that, then inshallah it would hopefully guide them back to Islam, and then also at the same time keep them firm, so that whatever trials or tribulations that they may go through that may have them question their Islam, that would not be a means of shaking their iman. That would not be a means of shaking their belief in Allah, because they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true with certainty. So just like, for example, when we go through difficulties, it doesn't cause us to cease to believe in the sun, for example. That we understand that the sun, it exists, whether we have a good day, a bad day, whether or not someone would try to come and disprove to us that the sun exists, we know for absolute certainty that the sun exists. So even if, it's a cloudy day and we're having a bad day, it doesn't cause us to cease to believe in the sun. And so, inshallah, we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place us in a situation that we have that firm resolve.